Now, I've said from the beginning that you don't have to see yourself as a teacher to do this, and you don't. But God is raising you up as a leader, and I want to encourage you, don't let a sense of false humility cause you to reject the idea that God's raising you up to be a leader, because God uses leaders of all types and kinds of personality. Again, the greatest part of ministry that may happen in many people's lives might happen right in that group that you lead. It might not happen in their church. It might not come out of the pulpit. They may go to a good church, but the place where God speaks to them most might be in the very group that you lead. And so own it. Take it upon yourself. The truth is, even in local churches, as I said, the pastor is not the quarterback. He's not the superstar. The pastor is more like a player coach. And if a pastor is following the pattern of the New Testament, what he's doing is he is equipping the people in his congregation to be ministers. And he's telling them of their role as ministers. Over in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 11 through 13, it says, God gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastor teachers for the equipping of the saints for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, until we all come to the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God, to a perfect man that is mature, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. That's Ephesians 4, 11 through 13. He's saying there that the pastor, teacher, has the role of equipping the saints for the work of the ministry. And so again, you see that you are a minister. The truth is, in the average church, 15% of the people in the congregation are actively involved, while 85% sit there wanting to receive ministry, but not having an opportunity to express ministry between themselves. But the truth is, in a small group setting, like a Grace Walk group, everybody has an opportunity to personally minister the way that the Bible instructs. Turn over to 1 Corinthians chapter 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verses 26, verse 26 through 33. Now here it is. Here's a Grace Walk group for you. 1 Corinthians 14, 26. What's the outcome then, brethren? When you assemble together, each one has a psalm, a teaching, a revelation, has a tongue, an interpretation. Let all things be done for edification. And then he goes on and says that there are different kinds of ministries in the church, but God has given us each a ministry to speak and to share. We each have something to offer. And so that's what small groups afford, the opportunity to share with each other. The truth is, when people sit in local traditional church life, and I'm not being critical, this is a reality and you know it, there's seldom opportunity for them to express ministry to other people. There's seldom opportunity for them to express the deepest longings of their own heart and be ministered to by other people. And this is the biblical way. Everybody ministering to each other. We're all ministers. And this thing of ministry in the home, it's as biblical as you can get. Jesus himself often ministered to people in their homes. And so we're talking about small groups and ministry in the home. Jesus did it. Now I told you I was going to give you verses for you to read on your own. Here's some here. You ready? Luke 19, 2 through 5. Luke 7, 36 through 38. Matthew 8, 14. Matthew 9, verses 10 and 23. Matthew 17, verse 25. Mark 3, verse 20. Mark 7, verse 17. Mark 7, verse 24. Mark 9, verse 33. You see, Jesus went to where the people were to meet their needs. He went into their homes, and he often ministered in small groups of people. In fact, he even sent the 12 and the 70 out to minister to people in homes in little towns and villages. Check out, in regard to that, Matthew 10, 11 through 13, and Luke 10, verses 5 through 7. And so the Lord ministered in homes, in small groups. The early church ministered regularly in homes. Here's some passages: Acts 2:46, Acts 5:42, Acts 10:24 through 48, Acts 16:25 through 34, Acts 20:17 through 20, Acts 21:8 through 16, Acts 28:30 and 31. Even beyond that early church life, out in Jerusalem, Christians kept meeting in homes. Acts 18:8, Romans 16:5, 1 Corinthians 1:11, 1 Corinthians 16:15, Philippians 4:22, Colossians 4:15, Philippians 2:2, 2 Timothy 1:16. I think what I'll do as I'm thinking about it is, I know you can't rewind this video. I think I'll post these verses above or below the video so that you can see these verses. That'll help you, won't it? So that you'll know where the passages are. In fact, I may even give you some more that I haven't quoted or mentioned just now. But the point is that I want you to see is ministry in small group is very biblical. It's the biblical way, and it's what Jesus did. It's what the early disciples did, and the fact is, if the only involvement a person has with other Christians is sitting in a worship service on a Sunday, their deepest needs might be unmet, because nobody's going to likely stand up in a church and share the personal needs of their lives. A lot of people won't even share those needs with their pastor. And so the biblical solution to that dilemma is that every member, every Christian, be allowed to develop the kind of relationship with each other so that we become comfortable with sharing our needs with each other and with ministering to each other. And that's the biblical way. That's what you call New Testament body life. Well, I think I'm going to stop right here on this session. What I wanted to do in this session is establish the biblical precedent for small groups, so that you'll see that these Grace Walk groups are very biblical. Let me say that what we're doing in the Grace Walk groups is not in opposition to anything going on at your church. In fact, the truth is, I have had pastors contact me about wanting to lead some Grace Walk groups. So make no mistake about it, there will be some Grace Walk groups that this will enhance your own local church. There are some places, some towns where people don't have a church that they can go to where grace is being taught. There's not a pastor teaching the Grace Walk message or walking in grace at all in their town. And they're starting groups in their town because they're starving to be with other people that know and love this message, as opposed to having to come home and wash the legalism off themselves every time they go to church. And so the groups will vary, but the point I'm making is that this will not hurt any church, what we're doing with these Grace Walk groups. This will help a church. I wish that every church in America would get on board and begin to teach this message that you and I will be sharing. But you, my friend, are a minister, so own it. And I pray for you that God will take you and use you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.